is Jason Faulkner, aka Shop Weasel. I just made my short while I'm driving. I'm still driving, but I'm almost home. But what I was saying in my last short video is the society, they want to build sticker shock or just outrage into everything. Because, you know, a populace, well, most of them are drones now. But a populace that is sticker shock, the ones that aren't members of the affirmative action, you know, they're easier to control every trauma you can impose on them. That gold chain I just looked at the pawn shop, it was not fancy by any means. It was just a plain chain, dulled down, old used gold chain. And it wasn't even a chain, it was like the thick, wide banded, cross-linked, wrapped around look, like not a V pattern, but just sort of a vertical interlocking gold chain. And $900. And you know, they're so invested in their schemes in society that they quit putting prices on their gold. I mean, some of it, if they just want to gouge it outright and put like $1,700, yeah, those stickers are still there. If they get something that looks fairly pretty, and they might think they have a chance of even getting a third of what they want, or they'll write it on a sticker. I think the new angle for everyone is, you know, like, well, not a third off, but like 10%. If not, you know what's happening? If not, that government has figured out to trickle the economy, the shadow economy, to all their entities, everything in society. They're trickling a steady, standby economy to everything. A salary, a shadow salary to everything. And they're getting those monies, and what that does, that lets them sit stagnation. That guarantees the government can impose a permanent stagnation on society, and that's what it's all about. Because all these entities, they got their main incomes either way, but then the outsiders, it's just a long, ongoing assault on non-membership of their deep state dronery grift. And that's everything. Car lots, doctor's offices, all of it. A to Z, grocery stores, pawn shops, Walmart, all of it. And they will set high prices on anything that might be valuable to an outsider that doesn't get that shadow trickle, that trickle-down economy. That's the shadow affirmative action economy that gives them a generous salary behind the scenes to allow them to carry out the administration's schematic. It's innuendo. And like this gold's like $4,500 an ounce, or maybe 10,000, who knows. But all their echelons of dronery, and these are people you know. Sam that runs the meat market, Sam that runs the pawn shop, Sam that runs the healthcare system, Sam that runs the Department of Education, Sam that runs the Department of Justice, Sam that runs all of private enterprise through that hand of shadow economy. They have that hand of shadow economy and everything. And people within affirmative action get that extra economy, that extra salary pipeline to them, beltwayed to them. Let's use the word beltwayed. And that lets the powers that be blindly rule everything. They do it with a lot of showmanship, a lot of tap dancing, a lot of storefront window dressing. They have their meetings and their hearings and their votes, and you can vote and they can vote, and you have a right to vote. And you don't vote, oh, shame on you, you're not a good American. And it's all fake. At the same time, this hydra that they implement against or in society, it's not against society, it's against some society, non-membership. And then they own the media, that's Sam's media. And what they do, they want to project an outward ugliness constantly to create and keep going that shock, that outrage, like their own high members within their ranks, these Grahams and Joes and Billy Bobs and Obabas and Harry Carries and Curdy Gurdys and all of them. These senators, these congressmen, these governors, and if you lined them all up in an empty stage on a blank canvas, if you put all those people out there, none of them look normal. They're all hardened monsters. Ain't none of them look perfectly normal, ideally normal, and that's because they are vetted from birth. They're hand cherry-picked from birth to be and to be programmed to be the monstrosities that carry out blind doctrine. And that's what controls society. And everything that's non-membership is an enemy of the state. I'll say it, it's an outright enemy of the state. It's something that they combat constantly. It's their main focus because in their minds, in their system, in their schematic of their system, what happens is they want total corruption. They want ease of rule, ease of maintenance, and totally corrupt people that are strung out, fucked up, and monstrous are easy to control. If one of them wakes up Sunday morning or Monday morning or a Friday and says, God damn it, I've been wanting a new boat for years and they just keep working against me, I think I'm going to rail against them. That never happens with this type of people, this caste of people, this model of people that they manufacture. And they say, Joe, you're as corrupt as we are. What are you going to do about it? You want a bag of drugs. You want some kids. You want some idle entertainment. You want to travel around the world. Go for it. But don't ask for this new boat, because it will trigger everyone else wanting a new boat. So just don't ask. Maybe in 5 years, come back and ask us, and we'll give you a yacht. Your choice. But with us outsiders, non-members, we want things like to be left alone by these predators, a house, investment. We want sweat equity into the storefront window that they maintain, which is all the most lionest sack of shit you ever dreamed of. You got rights. You're going to have a lawyer. You're going to get an education. You're going to have health care. You're going to invest in our society and make the world a better place. That's bullshit. They're monsters. They could give a shit less. They've got everything set up the way they want it, and that's the way it stays. And it's easy for them to maintain that because they use their own groomed pillars of the community, which are monsters. And when these old farts are used up, they have no problem setting the stage, the scene, so to speak, of more outrage or turmoil. Did Bobby Graham disappear? Where's McAllister? Did you hear old Joe died on the airplane overnight, and he was just the healthiest, spryest good guy that they've ever dreamed of, the war hawk good guy. a hero. He's gone. And the other one, McCullough, whoever they are, the other one, he's been dead for 2 months. And we're keeping his memory alive through AI. And it's just feeding a constant outrage that they use to maintain their total corruption. That's all that matters to them, because it's the easiest to rule. It's the easiest, it's the least maintenance cost there is. Versus, let's use the opposite scenarios. Everything in society is perfect, good. You get a lawyer when you need it if a cop comes up and does you wrong, or a thug on the street comes up and does you wrong. I've had both happen to me. You get a lawyer, and the lawyer says, well, this is fucked up. We're gonna do something about it within a week. We're gonna have someone's job or someone's going to jail within a week. And it actually happens. Your lawyer stands beside you and fulfills that. That's not a scenario that we live in. That's storefront misinformation. That's propaganda. If the cop comes up and slugs you between the eyes with a 45, or the thug, or if the community stalks you and rails against you and keeps you poor all of your life, and you want a lawyer, you're full of shit for even thinking you're going to get anything. Oh, write your congressman. Yeah, right. Those are even bigger monsters that are never around and could give a shit less. They're the higher end criminals that are more prone to steal your land from you and throw you in prison and funnel you into a life of poverty. And there it is. And, I fought that my whole life. And they'll use these friends and friends of friends and parties and the 4th of July, the celebrations, Christmas. All their ilk's going to have plenty and make it very desirable. And you're going to sit there and wonder, why can't I get there? Because they run it all. And that's just the storefront bullshit. Like environmentalism, they can take a little foreign girl from 10 buck fucking 2 and put her in her moment, her 5 minutes of fame, and she's going to get up there with her ugly little shrew look and carry on her little routine. And the world media is going to go, oh my God, and laws are going to be rearranged, but it's all storefront bullshit. We know that. But my developments that I invested my time in are real, tangible, advanced, futuristic even, and work great. And that's what I'm standing on. That's my little anthill that this rooster's standing on crowing. And I'll take any and all donations for my fabulous, environmentally effective products and personal, great, more developed happiness products that you can ever dream of to use. Then the rest of these schmuckholes put together innovate in their lifetimes. Matter of fact, I think they probably would work the opposite way and make something worse and put it in a stealth atmosphere, stealth media coverage, stealth business presentation stuff, to where you're buying this piece of worthless shit like a car, and it's shit, and everyone loves it because it's patriotic. It's Ford, everyone loves Ford. Ford's as red, white, and blue-blooded as anything, and of course they're the junkiest piles of shit you could ever dream of. Well, I'm sure Ford makes a nice $80,000 car somewhere, but the $19,000 and $20,000 cars of value and quality just don't exist. They have went foreign because that gives them more power elsewhere. And they don't need no more power here. I mean, they use vape, drugs, tattoos, and fucking chits to rule this country. And rent subsidies, who knows what. And all of us on the outside of that, we could walk down like Jesus Christ from here to Timbuktu carrying our cross and be thoroughly fucking ignored. And that's the way it is. And look at me. I drive around with this. And I haven't gotten one damn donation yet. You know why? Because every individual drone is programmed to the eyeballs to ignore my social cues and pay attention and seek out and look for the ones that the government creates. And it could be buy a plush doll and get a free vape. They've taken over Walgreens. Go get your drugs at Walgreens. Or any number of things. Who knows? New MSRP for their Chinese, Mexican car. The new Nissan to the moon and back. Only 28,005 with zero down. There's a social cue. Where my car only has 93,000 miles and it's worthless because it is against their social cues that they've been programmed with. But I'm here, doing my thing. Ain't nothing going to stop me. And, I've been railed against by the pillars of community to the individual people playing the storefront against me. Why don't you just go get a job? Well, I'm 55. I learned by the time I was 18, I'm not going to go get one of those fucking jobs because they've already infiltrated everything and it's just all storefront bullshit. And I'm not going to make buddies with any senators, presidents, congressmen, the chief of police, or the drug cartels, which are the police now, or even just members associated, loosely. It could be Juan from Mexico, the cartel king, who knows. But I'm never going to make buddies with any of it. The teachers, the moguls in business, private business, no. That's all that secret economy, that shadow economy, that hand is thoroughly welded to each individual drone. And I'm just like this moth there. I can flap my wings all day long and never get anywhere. And that's the end of every day of mine. Regardless of how brilliant I do, but I'm still going to do this because that's all I got. And that's what I've invested years in, and I've came up with some great stuff. So, this video might be worthless, but it's my video, and there it is. And gold's, so crazy. I don't know what to say. I got my milk, I got my toilet paper, I got my paper towels. I'm going to get the last 6 of my teeth pulled, which are these, Wednesday, with a promise that I'm going to get a set of fucked up dentures. That's cool. At least I can smile for the camera now. And maybe chew a can of peanuts or something. Who knows? It's been years since I've been able to do any of that. But as far as making alliances, I don't see it happening. There just ain't no friendship in this world. There ain't no real family, and there ain't nothing but a total corruption. So, if you want to have fun, maybe I can offer an allurement of fun. My products are environmentally significant. I want to become a raider within that fucked up government and try to snatch a couple of billion out, or 50 billion, or whatever I can get. If they're paying this Elon Musk agent, who's nothing but another storefront, or this Zuckerberg guy, Have you seen Facebook lately? I think it sucks. It's all personalized to individual. Well, they personalized mine to a point where I've deleted all my ads again for about the 10th time. 20th time, who knows? It's just another Craigslist scenario of a bunch of illicit money pumped into these organizations. And it acts like a nectar and a social cue for all these drones, and they flock in and they'll stay there for years. And they'll control it, and they'll run it, and they'll rule it, and they'll decide who sees who and what, and they'll decide what you're bombarded with, which they've basically opened a bag of dog vomit for me. And I don't want to look at their bullshit. And I know what they're about. And some of them know me and know what I'm about, but that don't matter to this desensitized zombies, drones or whatever they are, bunch of fuckheads. And there it is. I'm doing my best, and I've got it hung out there. You know, one thing, I guess they can pretend not to see me when I'm out driving, but they're seeing me, that's for fucking sure. So I'm Jason Faulkner, a.k.a. Shop Weasel, from East Glorious, Tennessee, which isn't as quite as hot as Florida, or as fucked up as Florida, or as dangerous as Florida, but it's still a high-level situation no matter where you are in this world. Because you have the Mad Hatter running it all, which is Don, and his so openly transparent influence and desirability to bond with the Russians, the Chinese, the Mexicans, South Americans, the Europeans, the whoever, the Africans, over us individual non-members in our own country. And that's the way it goes. I'll be honest with you, I'd rather have a fucking king right about now than any of this shit. But that's not going to happen. There is one, and it's called Don. And he's been king since his daddy preceded him, or he preceded his daddy. And he was the old king. Don's the new king, and Don has plenty of offspring, so there'll be a continuing kingdom for sure in the world. And it's ruled with total corruption and a lot of ugliness. Hope you enjoy this video. If you don't like it, I could give a cure less. Tough shit. It's the truth. If you do like it, it don't matter anyway. You're just another drone. A fucked up drone. So, if you got cash up front or want to donate something to me, I'd be glad to take it. I'll even work for it. I could care less. But other than that, there's my video. Bye-bye.